So Glenn, what are your retirement plan?
Probably to die while I'm at work, KJ.
But are you like after a certain age, you're not taking on new customers and hope that you outlive the ones you have?
Has that
Something
already
like that.
happened?
I have outlived a few of my customers already. Yeah, no, when one dies, that's when I take on another one, to be fair. So
Yeah, but at a certain point, you won't have the stamina to do that.
probably, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
No plan.
No plan. Like all of my making, there's no real plan.
That's even worse because I don't have a plan, but I think it's 2 or 3 years ago. Of course, if you are an employee in Norway, the employer have to set aside a certain amount every year into your pension savings. And if you switched employer, you had to gather everything, all the loose ends yourself and keep track of it. But now it's centralized one place. So all the pension savings from all the companies I worked for are not automatically deposited into one place. And some smart dickhead thought that, yeah, let's implement that into the bank. So every time you log on to your bank, you see your bank account, your kids' bank accounts, and then at the below you see your current pension fund. That's a depressing number. That is like I can't retire now to say that, but at the growth rate, it's not being a retired YouTube maker. It doesn't seem very viable.
The government here keeps upping the retirement age as well. So who knows?
So, what is it?
Old.
Yeah.
I've lost track, but I mean, I had pension plans to cut in when I turned 50, and they've changed that twice. Well, they've changed it. They changed it to 55, but by the time I'm 55, it will be changed to 58, I think.
Yeah.
So they just keep changing it until you're older and older. So you just have to keep
dangling
going.
that carrot in front of you.
Yeah.
But that's the problem though, because in Norway for many years it is 67. And of course you could have some deals who could able you to retire a few years before that. But the truth is, and people don't like to think about that, when they set that age, they did the maths. So it's like, how long can you work? And then what's the average age before you die? And then they set a gap, like, all right, you should be able to live decently for 5 years, and then you're expected to die. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens. And of course, people are living longer today, so the maths doesn't maths. Because we live too long, and the gap is too wide, so they have to up it, because there is not enough people entering the workforce to basically cover for it. So I understand it, but of course it's deep in our mindset now that, all right, when you're 67, you should retire. And of course, you have a few occupations. I think it's if you're a fireman or a police officer, you can retire at 58. And of course, a local police officer, where I come from, he was the police chief. And they have an administrative role, which means they have to retire when they're 67. And he was, of course, getting close to 58, so he went back to being a constable for the last year because then he could retire at 58, because he wanted to retire while he was still fit. Yeah. And understandably so, because they still get a full pension. And knowing that, maybe I should just have become a cop. It's too late now, of course, because I'm too old to enter. But yeah, having the retirement age at 58, that sounds really good.
But there's no concessions for road workers and any other manual workers out there. They've still got to go to the 68, I presume.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing though, because the reason why police officers and firemen and so on got an earlier retirement age because they were considered as hard work. So it was hard on the body. So but I mean, take nurses carrying full-blown people, and I mean they're doing more heavy lifting than any one of us during a day. But they have to go until they're 67, and a lot of other occupations. So there is basically nobody thought that through. It's like somebody, cops and firemen, that's it, or if you're in the army, I think as well. But then, of course, I'm guessing they said, yeah, that's fine because they're going to be shot long before that anyway. So that's a safe bet.
I just looked it up.
You die.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. For my age group, it's 69. That's the.
But that's a funny number, though, isn't it?
Yes,
I was gonna say, yeah.
It is. So I'm okay with that. I plan on it being 70, so 69.
Yeah, I would.
69 is more funny.
I would retire at 69. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, retirement is one thing, but leading up to it is another, because I mean, you don't want to work. I mean, I'll probably work for as long as my brain is intact, because I mean, I work as a consultant, and as long as my brain functions, I can work more or less. So then but I don't want to work full time, because that's not fun, because you don't get any time off for other stuff. And I mean, now the last couple of years I've been taking time off to be with the kids, because you're allowed to do that. But now that age limit of the kids is running out, so I don't have that government sanctioned. I only have to work 80%. So then I'm pondering, should I actually go down in time for real? I mean, tell my employer that I'm not going to work 1 day a week or something like that. Because it's also that I'm at the salary bracket that I have to pay extra government tax. So when I get a pay raise, half of it goes to the government because of taxes. So I mean, cutting the hours, I'm not losing that much money, because that money is already going over that tipping point.
Yeah, maybe that's the game changer then. If you go to your employer every time they raise your pay, I just want that translated into more hours off.
Yeah. So every year, I don't want a pay raise, I want a work cut.
Yeah. And then what is the threshold for them saying, well fuck it, we're paying you the same, but you're not working anymore? So...
How little can you work and still be employed? Yes, that is a very good question.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing would be just to fade out into retirement, just work 2 hours a week, still get your salary. That might be a bit much, but yeah. Yeah, because I've always thought that somewhere along the line, I would start to cut down on work, and then do it incrementally over the years. Like every 5 or 10 years, just cut off a bit more, and then just slowly retire and fade out. But when do you start that?
Yeah. But another thing is, though, that I got to thinking here the other day, because I talked to a guy who has, together with his wife, bought a house in Thailand. And of course, the funny thing in Thailand is if you get divorced, the wife gets the property, because as a foreigner, you're not allowed to own property there. So if you marry someone from there and you build a house and everything goes sour, you will lose every asset in the property. But what I noticed was he said that they had some carpenters doing work, and he told me what they paid them an hour, and they paid them good money for that for Thailand, but for Norway it was not too much. And then of course in my line of work they outsource a lot of the engineering stuff to like Singapore, India, and so on. And that got me thinking, what if I just pay a guy that is cheaper but still can do my job? So I don't have to tell my employer. I just hire my own guy, and here's my log on. My working hours are from 8 to 15 Norwegian time, and just every Monday I get up and I attend the meetings at my workplace, and oh, this is my tasks for the week, and I just delegate it to him, and I need it by Friday, and then I fuck off to my workshop. And I mean,
I think that's called a fraud, but yeah.
yeah, but I mean, I'm taking it out of my pay. So my employer, they say that, all right, this is the amount of money that we like to pay Harvey to do this work. And as long as that work gets done, they are happy because they get what they are willing to pay for. So if I then take 10% of my salary and I pay another guy to do that job so I can do other things, I mean, it's a win-win for everybody.
Okay, yeah. If you're subcontracting it out, that's. I mean, I thought you were gonna over a period of years, you're gonna change your appearance to match the other guys, and that guy's gonna change their appearance. So just one day you switch, and no one really notices.
Yeah, because that is
it's getting darker and darker. Or spending a lot of time in the sun. Yeah,
global warming.
Yeah, because that's the issue though. Because in the beginning, I still have to be in all the meetings. And that means that I have to pay enough attention that I know what my guy is doing so I can pull off telling that in the meeting. But of course, my long-term goal would be for my employee to be able to attend the meetings. But yeah, then if he's called Rajesh from India, it's hard just directly sending him in my team's meeting. So we need a grace period where we work on, yeah. I mean, it's if he just learns how I speak and I just start speaking with slightly.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So I'm prepping them that I like to speak Indian now because I think that's funny, and then.
In this day and age, you're allowed to just identify as whatever you want anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is me, accept me, otherwise I'll sue you.
As long as you don't turn up a brown face to meetings, I think it's
yeah.
Something to think about.
Or you can just say that I'm planning to go to Turkey this summer to get some hair transplant and whatnot, and then just over the summer he will. And then I'm like, yes,
It kind of.
I was only going to do the hair, but then they asked maybe you should do this as well. Do you want some injections? And go for it.
Got out of hand a bit. But...
Yeah. So I'm Indian now.
That would be so funny.
I mean, how cheap are we talking for the labour? Because imagine the YouTube channel you could create with 2 or 3 assistants. Especially ones that are really good at woodwork or any other type of making, really. You could do your thing, just the gift of the gab, and just let the other guys do the making. Just crack out a video every other day.
So he's gonna do voiceover on someone else's.
But that's the question though, because you have a lot of people selling services at sites like Fiverr or something, doing video editing or making animations and whatnot. And of course, they are working hand to mouth. So if you find a good one and you just contact them, and how much to be a full-time employee? And of course, if you have any spare time, you can do whatever you want. But this is my rate of making videos, and I need them edited. Yeah, it's an interesting thought. And of course, with all the AI tools today, people are getting very efficient at actually doing editing and so a lot more efficient than I am. So yeah, if I could take a 10% salary cut because I have a guy,
Yeah.
what's the threshold? It would be interesting to figure out how much it would cost to actually hire an editor.
And that just brings the question: what do you want to not do of all of this?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you don't want to sublet everything, because I mean, we do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
yeah
I actually enjoy the edited.
that's the thing though, and I'm also a cheap ass. I mean, we're not paying for this software, which is like
Yeah.
fiver a month. So should I pay for someone to do my editing? No. But I mean, it is fun doing everything, but of course some things are more fun, and if you get more time to do things that are more fun, I could let go of video editing if I could spend more time building stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, having the rough edit done, that would be kind of nice, actually.
Or not even a rough edit, but of course you have an editor's meeting. Like, I just sent you all the footage, and this is my storyboard. I envision myself doing this and cut it, and then you just hand that over, and then a couple of days later you get a rough draft. You'll look at that and like, yeah, I like that. You could put a more of stuttering in here. Yeah.
I often think about, it's a little bit of change subject, but somewhere along the same lines. You know, if you won the lottery, it would be really fun to have a big workshop, but maybe in this instance you divided that into three. Everybody, so you've got three workshops, and you've got your mates. So I've got you, and I've got you doing your videos out of the workshops. Just to have a communal space in the middle where you could throw ideas around in the daytime and just be making videos all the time would be great fun, wouldn't it? Have a couple of like-minded people around in the same building, sharing skills and whatnot.
You know what? I like the idea of a maker space where it is, as you say, it's just people you like, but there is no communal tools. It's just separate workshop where everybody has their tools, but you have a
communal
place.
Lunchroom. Or
where you can
bar.
Just with the ping pong table.
you can get the ping pong table. I'll shell out. Yeah.
Yeah, with everyone having their own space instead.
Yeah,
and I really like with the people I enjoy hanging around with, just strolling into their workshop and taking a piss out of whatever they're doing and just then leaving again. Or also, if you like, sometimes it is nice to lend a hand. Like, can you hold this while I tack weld here? Of course, I use my wife for that, but she's not on hand all the time. But in a workshop, you have people in the same mindset, and yeah, of course, I'll lend a hand to do some welding.
Do you have to say to her, hold this and close your eyes?
Just look away. I'm just gonna
just hold this a second.
I'm sorry, honey, but your skirt's on fire. Let me just finish this weld.
Every Friday.
Yeah, but you just have to have other YouTube makers, live reasonably close by, so you just could pop over. That would be so nice, because I mean that when you see the ones in California, in LA, that sort of thing, where there are a handful of pretty famous YouTube makers who just seem to nip over to each other each and every video, it feels like.
Yeah.
How close is close enough? It's got to be within half an hour, really, hasn't it?
I think that would be. I mean, because in all honesty, I don't know if I would want you as neighbors.
Oh, me neither. Wouldn't want me.
But
I wouldn't want me for a neighbor.
No, but I mean, I would say far enough that you would like that you would drive or take a bike, but you could walk it home if you needed. That's the
Okay.
distance I would like you.
About a mile, then.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, if
Yeah.
it should be close enough that if you see someone post something on Instagram like I'm just doing this, then like fucking hell, I'll just pop over and you'll be there in
Yeah.
10 minutes. That would be nice. But and I also think that I really enjoy those days when I have time off from work, but I'm also left to my own devices because then I get up in the morning, just not using the alarm clock, and then I have a cup of coffee and I just go down into the workshop. So having that workday structure, but without the stress of having to get shit done because that pays for your food. So winning the lottery, of course, I would have an immense workshop, but I think I still would want that structure in the day that, all right, I get up and I go down and I do something.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't spend evenings. I mean, I would do it for like until 4 o'clock, and then when the kids get home from school, I'll just spend time with them and go to bed early, just to get on top of sleep, which I haven't been for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Uh, and then, of course, when you are like you see the makers in Los Angeles, they are full-time makers, so that's what they do in the middle of the day. So it's easy for them to just, yeah, all right, I'll get in my car for half an hour and just visit a workshop and then hang around there for a couple of hours to see if we do anything and then go back again.
Yeah. I think it seems like the ones that seem most on top of things and have least mental issues, if you can say that, are the ones who treat it as a job and actually do it 9 to 5. And then we have the other ones who just work through the night and seems to burn their candle on in both ends and in the middle as well. That doesn't really seem healthy.
I I'm gonna go out on a limb here, but I think the latter category they don't have kids very often. It seems like.
That
Yeah.
is very much true.
Yeah.
They don't have a functioning family, at least. Or maybe they have
No.
kids, but they're not taking that good care of them, perhaps.
Yeah, but that's also fun though because I've seen examples that some YouTubers they seem like they are in the latter category, and then I just find out just like a reference or I see an interview like, oh, he's actually married and has 2 kids, but they're not mentioned at all, and then it becomes very obvious that the person he is also a persona, and they have a more structural work day than they make it look out in the videos. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you work for 8 hours every day and you go home to your family, but once you cut it together, it looks like they're just running around like headless chickens and just doing whatever falls into their head at any given time. But so you have to take that into account when you see YouTubers that. And if it's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but someone has fallen into that. All right, people seem to like this, so I'll continue doing that, and like it doesn't seem healthy for some of them to like. I wouldn't survive that pace for very long.
Yeah. But I mean, I always get joy out of seeing people having a nice time outside of work. That is, I mean, for YouTube, for an example, for people having nice family times. For instance, Laura Kampf at the moment. I mean, she's not making her best content ever project wise nowadays, but she seems really happy and she seems like
Yeah.
she's having a good time, and I'm really happy for her in that sense. So I mean, I think it's much better for her mental health the way she's now than a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, see if that continues with her being the janitor of LA.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, it looks like you meet some random people out on those streets, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, it's too hot for me to. I've been to LA
Yeah.
and it's a terrible place. And yes, I know that there is a lot diversity in California, but like weather-wise and like no, I wouldn't have a workshop there. It's too hot and humid. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
wouldn't
like it
survive.
there, I think.
Well, I think every building has air conditioning, doesn't it? So it's right once you're inside.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
when you're inside, it doesn't matter where you are in the world.
That's very true.
Yeah, it matters somewhat,
Yeah.
but not as much.
Yeah, it's always looked very cold when she was in Germany inside the workshop there.
True.
Yeah, but that amazes me because it is. I've seen people that I know they can afford the electricity to run heating in their shops, but it's like I guess they are like us. They're just cheapskates on certain things, but they have just chosen to. Yeah, I'm not going to use money on putting heat in my workshop because that money I can spend on tools. But I have a
So
carpet in my. I have the power and heat running for an hour before I go in here to do anything, and that's my luxury. That's yeah.
Do you follow? I think I'm going to pronounce this right. Kåre I think he's Norwegian. But when he does his winter workshop stuff, he's in the workshop in the winter, and he's got one of those big orange, looks like he works on an oil rig kind of suit, and you can see the cold hair blowing out of his mouth. It looks horrendous there.
I don't see why people stand for that. I mean, having a heated workshop is a human right.
Exactly.
I think anything where you're working with your hands, really. I mean, it can be pretty tricky for me when to do my job. You got to keep the hands warm, but to do intricate things,
Yeah.
you need the warmth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. I can use a t-shirt and shorts all year round, as long as I have decent heated mittens and socks. So that's the most important thing. And of course, I'm doing any kind of work. I mean, if I'm freezing on my fingers, I'm totally incapacitated. So
Yeah, it's bloody painful.
yeah.
Yeah, that as well. Very little dick jokes in this, I find.
I'm saving up to the 3 last minutes. Now we're gonna get all the dick jokes.
Nuts.
Yeah, I just listened back to that episode, and yeah, you covered it for the next couple of weeks.
It might be that we went a little hard on that one. Yeah, true.
Good terminology.
I try my best.
Yeah, that is another thing with a heated workshop. I mean, if it's freezing cold, it's hard to get it hard, basically. So,
That was a bit forced.
talking about wood, of course.
Yes.
Ah,
So I'm finding with making this next strum stick, it's a slow process because I'm making it for somebody else, so it needs to be bob on, which is slowing the filming down. So I'm doing what I don't like doing. I'm having to start other projects to keep feeding the YouTube machine, which is tricky. So I can see me starting the guitar pedal very, very soon as well.
ooh.
I think I'll probably have this next week on the strum stick, and then start the guitar pedal, which I'm very much looking forward to now.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got an image in my head on how I want it to look. Whether it'll work or not's another matter, but it's the looks that are important for me.
So you're the motley crew of guitar pedal makers.
Yes.
Wasn't it him who went to the guitar shop and just asked for a mirror so you can see how the guitars looked on him? He didn't even try them on.
That's fair enough.
I mean, looks is half of rock and roll, so yeah, that's important.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Definitely you're a hair metal band, and I mean Glenn is obviously hair metal.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
maker community. Big hair and lipstick and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you know how it is. It's Glenn May and Michelle Mercury, so it's a power duo.
With Lily on the drums. Yeah, it's a family project.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the cover album where Queen did the four faces with the black background, and they had you should do that as a family portrait.
Have the cat in there to make the fourth up.
Yeah. Speaking about cats, I came in to the gang today where the cat lives, or where the cat has its food and drink, and yep, she has thrown up. And there was, I was going to say the biggest tapeworm I've ever seen, but it's the only tapeworm I've ever seen, and there was no doubt what it was. And
Is it still moving?
no,
Good.
luckily, and then I called the vet because I wanted some tapeworm pills, but you need a prescription for that, and to get the prescription they need to see the cat, and this is a very feral cat living outside. So I said, all right, just give me an appointment. I might not have the cat, so we'll see. So I spent half the day today setting up a trap to capture the cat, and did so perfectly and brought her to the vet. And except for the tapeworm, they did like a quick health check, and unfortunately, she is in very good nick for her age, which is 15 years old, we found out today. So she's probably gonna outlive us all. I mean, I'm gonna retire before she does, so, and that says something.
So she's living out of spite, is it?
Yeah. And of course, we inherited this cat, and I don't think my father insured her. And of course, a lot of the insurance companies, they don't want to insure old animals, but there is one company who does. And just for shits and giggles, I just went online today and checked, all right, if we were to insure this cat, how much would that be? And yeah, that's more money a year than we are planning to ever use on that cat. And we have said that if any major things comes up, that's going to be the end of the road. And of course, I sent a message to my sister today that yep, we're going to take the cat in to get her dewormed, but also if they find something, how much are you willing to pay to keep her alive? Because I'm not, and that is like, she's had a good life. So she was very much, I don't think the cat knew, but she was very much in a Schrodinger's cat situation where I had to put her in a box. She might be dead, she might be alive by the end of today, nobody knows, but yeah, she's very much alive. So
She might get dewormed and de-alived when you go to the vets.
yeah. And that's the thing though, when you read all, I needed to wait for the veterinarian because he was busy with other customers, clients, patients, yeah. And then I read all the brochures, and it's like, yes, animals become a part of the family, but this is a distant cousin at best, living outside. And when you read the pamphlet, you should do this, and you should take a blood sample, and you should bring a stool sample in, and they're just assuming that all cats are indoor cats where you can just go to the litter box and get stool samples whenever. We have a feral cat. If you try to lift her up, she's going to bite you. She does not like people, and she shits outside. There's no chance I will ever get a stool sample from that cat. I got this huge catcher's mitts today to put her in a box to go to the vet. And the vet say, do you mind holding her on the table while I got gloves? And then she's like, oh, it's not that bad. And she just touched the cat and she's like, so, oh, okay. So, yeah, it is very much, it's a miniature tiger by sure, but yeah.
When I visited your house, I stood outside for about 5 minutes with your cat stroking her, and she was purring away, as happy as anything.
Yeah. That's the worst. She is social.
I have had worms ever since, though.
Yeah, you should get some pills for that.
Yeah.
Well, it is sad though, because she is social when you're outside, and you can stroke her for anything between 5 to 20 seconds. But once she's had enough, she doesn't walk away or gently let you know that she's just gonna bite you. And she bit one of the kids here the other day, and of course I thought to myself, is this the excuse to just get rid of her, because I don't want her biting my kids? But I mean, they love this cat, so they felt sorry for her for biting them. So it's like, yeah, so I can't just take her away. But of course, we did think about should we take that story where she went to that farm upstate, living the best life. But yeah, they're starting to see that might not be true. So yeah,
don't you have pets so that kids can learn about death? Isn't that the point?
Yeah. That's why you have hamsters, isn't it?
So it doesn't take 15 years.
Exactly.
It's not too upsetting with the hamster either.
No, you don't get attached to it as well. Yeah. That being said, my sister had a hamster when she was a kid, and it was a tear jerking the experience once he kicked the bucket.
Remember when my hamster died? My older sister gave me £10 to make me feel better. I was like, this is great.
Did you buy a new hamster?
I'm going to buy an old hamster for £5.
I still have money left over for Caddy.
Yeah. You turn a profit on this every time.
How long can I keep doing this before you catch on? Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean,
for a horse.
Does it scale by volume or weight, or?
You would hope so, wouldn't you?
I mean, that would be interesting, though. We should have a funeral agent on as a guest to discuss the economy in it, because of course there need to be a business model for it. I mean, you don't have people working in funeral homes for free, because they need something to live by. And then of course I've done the yearly summary of the business expenses and whatnot, and you have sales, and then you have taxes and whatnot. But how do they name? Do they just mark them as sales, or how do they do the what's it called? When you do the totally blank.
Yeah.
How do we title it in the bookkeeping? That's a good
idea.
The
bookkeeping. Yeah. How do you do the bookkeeping when you're like, do you actually not by names, but do you separate them in by age group, range, because you need to have statistics, I'm guessing, and are some more profitable than others, so you get taxed more? I mean, I have so much questions.
It's funny thing that we have a client list, and it's a one-use client, because that client is not coming back.
Yeah, but you do one good funeral, don't you? And the family does keep coming back with every
Yeah, I
passing
mean, yeah,
after the
if you look at the family as the client and
yeah,
not the person, the main focus of the event, yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Um,
Yeah, and do you? I mean, in any business, what you really want is returning customers, right? So if you
Yeah.
have a family and they bring you a deceased, do do you send out newsletters or do you send them flowers every time somebody in that family get another kid? Because
yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations on a new.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you do
so,
that?
so you mean that you get better service if you have a big family with lots of kids, because that's it's gonna be more business in the future.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes if you're a good customer, you get discounts. How do they do it here? I mean, how are you a good customer? How do you give discounts? Do you have group discounts?
Yeah.
I mean, if they
I mean, there must be a subscription model of some kind. That's everyone has that nowadays.
What about the rich guy that prepays for his funeral? Nobody likes him. Nobody turns up. Do you still give that same good service, or do you just chuck him in a box and chuck him in the hole, and that's that done?
that is it's a Norwegian comedian. He wrote a book. Don't remember the title on it, and I couldn't translate it. But in Norway, there is, I think, during the year, it's like 400 funerals or something where there are no family to be found and nobody shows up. But of course, and their funerals are covered by the state. And the nice thing is that they still do a proper ceremony and so on.
Right.
And of course, the if it's a Christian sermon, it's the priest, or if it's a communal thing, then it's often a representative from the funeral homes saying some chosen words. And this comedian, he actually went to a lot of these to write a book about it. And it is weird sitting at a funeral for someone you don't know, where nobody shows up,
Yeah.
but they still are very much professionals when doing the job. So,
Right.
but it is, yeah, it feels, of course, for us not working in that industry. It's, this. I mean, I could close the doors early today, couldn't I? Just let him sit in the car until Monday, and we'll chuck it in with the.
I mean, I kind of hope that the priest or whatever religious figure takes their job seriously and actually cares about the immortal soul and that sort of thing, because otherwise they're not really fit for that profession, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they do have a wider audience always watching them if they've got that faith as well, don't they?
Yeah, and that audit is kind of hard.
Yes, and in that sense, it's understandable. But if you go back to the funeral home, I mean, there got to be at least one that I just got into it for the cars. I like the long stretched limousines,
I
the
just like
the
burning bodies.
the loading capacity because I can get full sheets of plywood in them on the weekends.
I've only been in a Rolls Royce twice, and that was once for a marriage and once for a funeral.
The question is, what's the third gonna be?
Lottery. No, I wouldn't buy a Rolls Royce. Wasn't
No.
that impressed. I did have one of my customers learn to drive in a Rolls Royce.
Was it by the family driver as well?
It was his dad's Rolls Royce. His dad had a brokerage company. Yeah, very nice.
I guess you can live it like that as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a funny clip. I think it was Victoria Beckham who was interviewed, and she did a reference to, yeah, like back in the days when we were working class something, and then in the middle of the interview, David Beckham just popped his head in. What did you say? Yeah, middle class. Okay. What car did you drive when you were a kid? That got nothing to do with it. What car did you drive? What car did you drive? My father had a Rolls Royce, and exactly, and he just left. So it's like, you can't really claim being a working class
No.
or a middle class or whatever. Like, yeah, his daily driver was a Rolls Royce. So yeah, on that morbid theme, it was more upbeat than usual. But yeah,
Yeah, it was the
my-
most upbeat death talk we've ever had.
I think so.
yeah,
Yeah.
very much, yeah. So,
Feels kind of wrong.
yeah, let's end it there before it goes sour. So,
Fine.
good night.
Bye.
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 Yeah, I thought you were gonna put a cap in talking the death talk earlier, but as you said,
Yeah, I was looking at the clock and it's like 1.5 hours. That's perfect. Let's wrap it up here. I got guests. I need to go back and be social, and then here we are, 15 minutes later than that, talking death mobiles. Yeah.